moment. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On the Mic of Mike. It is the premier business radio program. I'm your host, Mike King. I appreciate you being here with us. So this is part of the Mike King Biz Radio Network, which is ESPN Richmond 106.1 every day from 5 to 7 a.m. The Choice 105.3 every day from 2 to 3, as well as International Business Group Radio. We do like LeBron. We take our talents on the road and showcase RVA and all the great things that are doing. So, so ladies and gentlemen, I know a lot of people, and people come through sometimes. So Shantani is coming here to talk about, I'm not sure. I kind of, I wasn't exactly sure. And she comes here with a face that I remember, but it's not with what we're here to talk about today. It's a whole other thing. So I always say cool people know very cool people. Alrighty, so ladies, introduce yourselves, because I always say this is a business show, and we're going to start off who you are, and then we're going to dive into the good stuff.
My name is Shantani Jackson, and I am the Executive Director for the Virginia Community Health Workers Association.
You are, but that's not how I met you.
No.
I met you as a business owner.
Yeah.
Who does that? You do. All right. So you got a bit. All right. Shout out your business.
Yeah. So quickly, I am the owner for the Jackson Bilingual Notary, and that's how we met.
That is how you.
Exactly.
And so but I didn't know the nonprofits. I had heard it.
Correct.
But I didn't know. Okay. So you were out there changing the world, and I see you didn't roll solo.
No.
Okay. So who'd you bring with you?
Oh, today.
I am Kelly Evans. I am the technical assistant from the Institute for IPHI, where I provide assistance to Shantani and the Community Health Worker Association.
But I didn't meet you under that hat.
No, you
No,
did not.
I did not. Okay. So you wear a number of hats.
I do.
You got a lot going on. Okay. So I met you before through Jobs RVA.
That's correct.
Shout out to my man Chris Mayfield and all the things that he's doing out there. He's doing some big things. So shout out to Chris Mayfield. So and tell people what Jobs RVA is.
Jobs RVA is actually a 16-week program where we work with individuals who are underemployed or seeking employment through a biblical-based platform to encourage and increase job performance.
And when we met before, we were at the Common House. That's been a year and a half.
Yes, that's correct.
A while ago.
Yes.
Okay, so doing that, making a mark there. I do a lot of work with this group, Housing Families. First, shout out to Beth and all the great things that she's doing. Little did I know, you are what there?
I am the board president, the board chair at Housing Families First, where we do an amazing job assisting families as it relates to being in shelter and then moving out into their own homes.
Shout out to my man Will Melton, doing some Exponent 21, doing some. Your board is on fire.
Yes, they are.
Your board is on, and the new facility.
Yes. So we just completed a $4.4 million capital.
You guys,
campaign.
Okay, you guys hit it.
Yes, we did. So super excited about that and the expansion of the campus. We shall be soon doing an actual ribbon cutting as it relates to the amazing things happening at Housing Families First.
What's the man at the front? Mr. Rodney? Is that his name?
Say that again.
At the front.
Yes, Mr. Rodney is at the front.
Shout out to Mr. Rodney.
Yes,
He's like the traffic cop.
He is.
He is. So shout out.
He is.
See, I'll be around.
I know you be around.
I do get around.
Yes,
I'm around people doing cool stuff.
You are.
Okay, so all right, so it's Housing Family First, Jobs are. Is there anything else?
Actually, it is. I sit on the board for Virginia Housing Alliance, where I am the vice president. I do a lot of volunteering in the community. I'm the networking piece, such as Mike, to kind of connect the dots. So if I hear a person saying they have a need, I'm going to refer you, because Shantani, I knew, worked within the Latin community, and my sister was doing some things in the community through Love and Beauty, and so connected her, and so she does giveaways to the families out at Southwood as well. Normally it's the third Sundays of each month, third or fourth Sundays of each month.
Really quickly, let's talk about what's the drive for you for all the community service that you do. Were you always that person?
It's interesting because I think about every job I've had, I was always trying to be solution driven to assist people. So whether I worked for Richmond Public Schools as a secretary, or I worked for Richmond Redevelopment Housing Authority, assisting people with moving as it relates to living in low income housing. But I was always mindful about, as a single parent, of how to set people up for success. And so how to move people to the next space and place. But I'm that cheerleader to help people.
You were
grow.
you're the problem solver.
Problem solver. That's it. That's it.
Alrighty, ladies. So you guys got something come up. Let's talk about what you got coming up.
Absolutely. So we have the second annual CHW conference, and that will take place not too far from here. Actually, we are going to be at the Doubletree.
The Doubletree, right down
Doubletree
the
by
street.
Hilton. That's going to be on day 2, but on day 1 is going to be virtual. So starting October the 26th through the 27th, we will be hosting the Virginia Community Health Workers Association. Super excited about
And
that.
that's a nonprofit that helps. Explain to me, like, so our listeners would understand what community health workers are.
Absolutely. So community health workers are public health workers that provide support to communities who may need navigation with actual social services, health, or any other system-related service that they may not be able to navigate or understand or need some support.
How are people doing now? So you've been doing this for a while.
Yep.
You touched on, you saw what life looked like before the pandemic showed up. Oh, how are we doing now?
It's interesting because not only do I work with Central Virginia, the Central region, I cover the entire state. People are handling stuff a little bit different because they're trying to figure out who they trust and who they don't trust, especially when you think about isolation and when you think about people trying to figure out how to navigate systems, whether it's trying to locate Medicaid, whether it's trying to locate a local food bank, whether it's trying to get rental assistance. And so people need community health workers to kind of help them navigate those systems and spaces and places, whether you're a senior, whether you have a disability, or even if you have some type of behavioral health concerns, a community health worker will help you navigate those systems.
Well, let's touch on that the housing crisis very quickly. So the pandemic shows up and they tell the folks, it's like, all right, fine, you don't have to pay your rent. That really is coming back to create problems. Can you touch on what that means? And sometimes people were out there, how can they get help or talk, man, please.
Yes,
help,
sir.
help
Yes,
folks.
sir. Yes, sir. So you have to, you will call the Homeward has a hotline that you would call and they will provide assistance. Also, there is another organization that Jovan Burton is the executive director of, where they will help you, assist you in navigating those spaces and places as far as locating resources. Also, it's called Partnership. I cannot think of the exact full name, but if you look it up under Jovan Burton, he's the executive director of that nonprofit. And so there are ways to help people, as well as utilizing resources in the community, along with if you have a contact within social services or even in your local faith-based community, because I think sometimes people are, and I'm going to say this, I myself and my daughter faced homelessness for a while, but then I had to come to the realization that I needed help outside of me. Yep, I was a social worker, I could figure it out. But then when that time came, I had to ask for assistance. And so not walking in a place of shame, but asking for assistance.
And now that drives us right back to Housing Family First.
That's correct.
The way the setup is, it's a tough time for people.
It is.
And the dignity that is shown to folks there, the room. And you know what? And so that's why we have the detergent here. So really, and so the bedding and all that is yours to take with you. The idea is to get folks in there to go ahead. So now, talk to the listeners. I didn't get excited now. So talk to listeners about what Housing Family First does. So if a person finds themselves in that position.
So the way you would come through a Housing Families First is through calling the Continuum of Care hotline, because they would actually figure out where, if there's bedding in Housing Families First or any other local shelter in the city of Richmond. And so then they would disseminate to where you would be located to actually go on the wait list. If you're placed on the wait list, then you would have the opportunity to get screened to come to Housing Families First.
All righty. Oh, so the event that you guys have coming up, what can people expect?
Yeah, absolutely. So while you are attending as a community health workers, actually there is a scholarship that would subsidize the cost of attending. So normally the price is $49.99 for 2 days, or the virtual day, which is $24 as well, $25. We consider these options because we understand that community health workers have responsibilities in their communities, they're employed, and they want to be able to also attend. So we made those services customizable. But in order for community health workers to receive something, what we are providing or the benefits of attending is a CPR certification or recertification. Also, able to increase awareness about the profession. So if you want to learn more about something, what's trending in your profession, then this is a place where you should go. Also, networking opportunities, absolutely. I want to meet with you. I want to meet with Kelly. I want to meet with these speakers who have a wealth of information about what community health workers are doing in community, not just here in the United States, but also other countries, so that we can understand what the scope of work is, entails the best practices. How can we improve the profession, right? We also obviously gonna have like a swag bag, or in this case, it's gonna be a swag box. And so we're gonna have some materials there for those attendees, and obviously lots of entertainment, lots.
First day virtual, second day at the DoubleTree.
Correct.
There you go. Alrighty. Is this the first time you guys have done this?
This is the second time.
Okay.
Prior to the pandemic, we started small because they have small funding. So we start actually at one of the local Henrico public libraries. That was where we had hosted our first conference. And then we are now trying to explore other options so that it will be more welcoming for community health workers.
Alrighty, so you guys have sponsors?
We are looking for sponsors.
Okay.
So we have two. The Virginia Department of Health is one of our gold sponsors. And we recently received one. I can't think of the name, but they are still in the process of finalizing their sponsorship. We also have exhibition tables. So if you're interested into that, then we can help you.
So what kind of people do you think would come there for?
Great question.
To have a table.
So we want anyone who is interested in promoting their services that relates to health, wellness, and/or services to community health workers or their communities.
Do you know the folks at Poplar? You live down there. Do you know the folks at Poplar Springs Hospital?
Not personally, no.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, well, I gotta connect you with those guys. They're out in the community, always doing a lot of things helping, and this would be right up their alley. Alrighty. So, do you guys have not giveaways? Do you have auctions or silent auctions or raffles or anything like that?
We are hosting a silent auction. We're gonna have a 360 booth. Yes.
Yeah.
We're gonna have dinner. So the actual ticket event includes these after-hour entertainment or activities, right? It connected to still the conference. So it's framed within that activity. So the ticker includes dinner, includes participating of all the activities. So whether it's the silent auction, the photo group, we're gonna also have some entertainment in terms of people showcasing their folk and culture. And so it's gonna be something that we've not done before and that people will enjoy.
And this is to promote, how does a person become a community health worker?
Great. So community health workers have various pathways. They could come as volunteers or lay persons, or they could become certified community health workers. I am a certified community health worker. Ms. Kelly is a certified community health worker. And so that doesn't delineate or differentiate anything in terms of the work that we do. We're still doing community work, which is helping our communities, representing them and advocating for them or being a liaison. And so what it does mean is that I prefer to go or to be volunteer because I may have a job. I may be older in age and I don't want to go through no education or whatever the circumstance may be, or I may have a language that I don't prefer to follow or pursue that pathway. But community health workers can become certified. There is a certification, Virginia Certification Board, which is overseen by the Virginia Department of Health as the entity that authorizes certification. And there is a website that can provide them with specific information. Pretty much there's 3 buckets. The first one is the number of hours. The second one is the education. And the third one is the expertise or experience as a community health worker. All those 3 requirements must be met in order for them to become certified community health workers.
And the community health workers are people getting information out to the community. Like when the pandemic first happened, somebody had to get the information out, like, you know, how do we do this thing? Because sometimes people don't want to come leave the house and somebody has to go there and tell them. So that's part of this right here.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes, that's correct. And so many times, especially during the pandemic, there was a heightened number of people that were kind of like more so fearful.
Yes.
So community health workers were those that were on the front line, having the ability to go into the homes, or even there was a central location where they could disseminate information, because information was coming from the media, information was coming from.
It was from everywhere.
And especially the social media platforms, and people like, oh my gosh, this is happening. But if you wanted the true, actual, factual, what was happening, community health workers would be able to give you, what's the word on the street? This is what's happening. Because truth of the matter is, some of the information may have been so high level that people needed to have a better understanding of, as I would say, front porch mentality. Listen, is this what's really happening? So this is what's really happening. Oh, I'm so glad. Now you're gonna spread the word amongst everyone else
who speak your language.
And that is correct.
Yes, that is true.
Correct.
And speaking from that perspective, there's the cultural component, right? There's so many people who speak different languages and connect with those values. And so that's also part of what community health workers understand and embody and represent, right? And so they were able to see, hey, so-and-so, señora, blah, 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 Ladies Hernandez, let's talk about what's going on. Let's sit down, take a cafecito, a cup of coffee, and let's dialogue. And this is the way in which trust was built.
One of the things, so I shout out to the Better Business Bureau. They have a person who speaks Spanish, because they know it has to be an outreach, because people are kind of leery, you know, you the government calling or whatever. And so it's just like, so when she was on with me a while back, I'm like, yeah, you know, in Spanglish, no, forget the Spanglish. Just go straight to Spanish.
Right.
Just go, forget the Spanglish right now. Go to Spanish, and you guys tell people, hey, you got a business, this works for you.
Right.
Yes.
And so people, well, ladies, thank you for coming on the program. How can people find you out there?
So we are on the website, chwofva.com. That's our main webpage. We are on social media, all platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of them. And that the hashtag is CHWofVA, OFVA. And so you can find us there. We also can be reached through email. So the general email is info@chwofva.com.
And something else you're forgetting about? You got something else to tell me? No, nothing?
No.
You don't do anything else? You don't have a business?
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay.
Jackson Bilingual Notary.
Oh, I was just wondering. I thought you had hit the lottery and didn't care about working anymore. Oh, that thing you do. Oh, that other thing you do.
All the other things. Yeah, Jackson Bilingual Notary at Weebly.com. So,
there you go. Alrighty, ma'am. Let me get out the pen and paper. How do people find you? Because let's start the places where people can find you, or give a shout out to them folks.
So I want to give a shout out to Jobs RVA, Ajay Blue Saunders. I want to give a shout out to Housing Families First. Beth and their team are doing amazing work. I want to give a shout out to Virginia Housing Alliance. Brian Kozel is the executive director, which I am about to transition there shortly after here.
I've never had, you know what? You got to set it up and they can come on the program.
Most definitely. But you can find me on LinkedIn, Kelly D. Evans, and then you can find me on social media platforms as Kelly Evans. And so I'm willing to connect people, have conversations. If you got a question, I might have a solution, but I
might have a solution.
to
You,
assist
you know a
people.
person.
I know a person.
You
I
know
know
a
a person.
She
There-
does
I know a
know
person.
There
a
is a
lot of
value
people.
in knowing people.
That's correct.
My
That's
father
correct.
didn't know how to fix anything,
Mhm.
but he
But
knew a
knew
person.
somebody.
I knew
That's
someone.
right. That's
I
right.
knew somebody. And shout out to the folks who know people.
That's
That's
right.
right.
That's right.
And knowing the
That's
right
right.
people too.
That's
Knowing
right.
the right people is
That's
the
right.
key.
All right,
That's
ladies
right.
and gentlemen, I gotta go. I mean, I could sit here. We were killing it before we got on the
That's
radio.
right.
That's for sure. It is good. All right, on the mic, Mike. We'll talk to you soon.
All right.